Hi, everybody. I'm Ross the Boss. In today's interview, we have a very funny comedian. Unbelievable. I'm excited. He's here. He's in New Jersey. If you want to see him live, go to his website, richvos.com. Great podcast. He's been doing it for over like 10 years now. It's like unbelievable. He does it with his wife, Bonnie McFarlane, who I love. It's called My Wife Hates Me. You got to check it out, guys. It's unbelievable. Rich, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Can you take that horrible picture of me down behind you? It's
I like that picture. You look good. You have a tan.
I mean, I still look okay, but it's depressing, because my head is as big as the bobbleheads that are behind you. I'm surprised it's not like a little spring under my neck going, look at me, what a bodak I am. I didn't know you were a Cincinnati Reds fan.
Born in Cincinnati. I wasn't raised there, but I used to go back there every summer. I actually went back in May. My dad died. I don't want to bring down the interview, but my dad died. His wish was to be buried in Cincinnati, where he was born and raised. And I had to go back and bury him there. But yes, I'm a huge Reds fan. And I'm a big Bengal fan also. I know you're a big Giants fan.
No, I'm not. First of all, relax. First of all, Cincinnati, home of Skyline Chili and the other one. That's Skyline and the other one. I don't eat meat, but I still like their spaghetti with onions. And I myself, baseball, where I have a tattoo still, I was an Oriole fan in baseball because I played on the Orioles in Little League. But I'm a little older than you. I'm talking about when Brooks Robinson played third base, Frank Robinson, Boog Powell, 420 game winners one year. No one can name
the thing is, Rich, Jim Palmer went to my high school, and I broke his home run record in Little League. Take that, really? Rich Vos.
Did you really?
Yes. Ross the Boss is an unbelievable athlete. Do you have your wallet with you?
Yes. Why?
Can you take out, I just want to show the guests, this is not planned. Can you take out your money and show how you organize your bills?
Oh, I don't have them.
Yeah, they're organized. Don't BS me. I'm Ross the Boss. Now, show the audience how you organize it.
Yeah, it's 100 facing that way, the other 100 facing that way.
Yeah, keep going.
This 100 facing that way.
Okay.
20, yeah, I keep them
it goes. Okay, Rich is the only comedian I know. He always has. I was with him in Vegas a long time ago, and he walks around in a wallet in which the cash is all in the right order, like you saw. In hundreds, 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s. It has to be in that order, all facing the right way, or he does not gamble. Correct.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, I'll still gamble, but I don't like to walk to the table already with a negative thought in my head. And if my money's, I was on tour and I met this girl before I was married, and we went to the car, and I couldn't do anything because my money was too scattered in my pocket. Because I just sold a bunch of CDs after the show, and after I sold my CDs, we went to my car. I was,
of course you did,
and I go, listen, I can't do this. And she went back to the club, and I faced all my money the same way, and I felt so much better.
I love it. The comics love doing that. Now, you were born and raised in New Jersey, not the nicest area of New Jersey. You were raised in like a black neighborhood, correct?
Well, yeah, Plainfield, New Jersey. It was kind of it was more of an urban neighborhood, but like I was on a corner. So the front of my house was mixed white and black people, but the back street on the side street was more black people. That's where I learned to play sports and stuff. I was good. I was good in basketball. I was good in every sport.
You're a good athlete, Rich. You walked around. Since I've known you, always had a six-pack, always in great shape, unbelievable golfer. Yeah. I mean, you've always been a great athlete, and you were the first white guy ever on Def Jam. How did that happen? I know there's so many comics that are jealous of you going on Def Jam, being the first white comedian. How did you get that gig?
You can only hold the white man down so long. That's what I always say. That was over 20 years ago. That was so long ago. I've done a couple things since then, but I've done like one or two things since then.
Not true. You've done 4 Comedy Central specials. You've done Showtimes, but you've done so much stuff. You've been on TV almost over 100 times.
Yes.
So what are you talking about? And I want to tell you something, Rich.
but
I'm the one that's responsible for your current wife. You met her because of me, because I
no.
put you.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, really? How? Tell me how? Why is not Ross the boss responsible for you meeting your current wife?
no, you're partially responsible because I was on Last Comic.
There you go. Yeah. And how did you meet Miss? How did? I was there when you like met her for the first time in New York City. I was there.
She came downstairs and said, "You're the guy in Last Comic Standing," and I go, "You're the comic that sleeps with other comics." So we hit it off, and then the next night I went out with her.
Yep.
She tried to dodge me, but you can't dodge the Voss
No.
monster.
No,
And
not can't dodge Rich Vos.
and we went out, and I remember, how is the other Bob doing? How's Bob doing?
Bob Reed, who is my producing partner on that show. He is doing great. He is the casting producer for the Kelly Clarkson show, and he actually just won an Emmy last month.
Good for him.
He's,
Good for
he's,
him.
he's doing
He's
daytime
casting-
TV. Yep, he's enjoying it. He's in charge of all the talent on Kelly Clarkson. I don't think you're really right for the show. They don't really have stand-ups on the show, so
First of all, I'm not looking to do it, but I'm right for any show. I did The View twice. I did Rosie
I'm
O'Donnell.
teasing you. I know.
There's nothing Rich Voss can't do. My wife won a daytime Emmy, but that's besides it.
I
was
knew
not-
that. I know. Your wife does very well. You know, tell me, you used to go. I mean, you in the casino is a sight to see. Tell us what games you play and how you play and what kind of luck you have in casinos.
First of all, luck. Ugh. One week in basketball, out of 14 games, I lost 12, which is almost impossible. I played the only game to play in a casino is craps, because anything else. I mean, it's the crack of gambling. When the table's hot at a crap table, like Farrakhan and the head of the clan are high-fiving each other when the table's hot. When the crap table is hot, Israel and Palestine are best friends. Matter of fact, my neighbor right there,
Yeah.
he's Palestinian,
Oh,
and I'm a
great.
Jew. And you see that fence late at night, like once or twice a month, I sneak and I move it like 6 inches closer to his house. Right?
Is he really Palestinian? You walk around with the Jewish star around your neck. And,
Yes.
And let me just give you credit. You were getting tattoos back in the day before they were cool. And
Yeah.
and you were way ahead of the curve with tattoos. I mean, you had like 4 or 5 tattoos. Now you're all tattooed up. I don't even know what the hell's on your arms anymore. But I mean, when I met you, you had like 4 tattoos, and I said, you're Jewish. Jewish people don't get tattoos. And you said,
First,
Ross,
that's-
I'm Jewish, but I have to do something. And so
Well, I got a good Jewish tattoo here again. It says "Never Again."
I love it.
A lot of people think it's marriage, but it's not. It's working the improvs. That's what they said to me, though. Never again. So gambling. I don't know. I was in the casino. What did I just work? I just worked a casino. Oh, I was at the Brigada, and I played craps a couple nights. The last night I was up and down. Then I got even. And the last night I won like 400. I was up 400, and I just walked. Not because it was just too little. It wasn't enough. But I had my kid with me up in the room, so I said, if I sit down here, I'll lose everything plus another couple thousand. So I might as well walk away with a kid and up 400.
I saw a very funny picture of your kid dressed up as you, and it was adorable. I mean, that she looks like Bonnie, just so you know.
Yeah,
but I mean, she's adorable. Congratulations on that. Good job. I know you have 2 other kids too. I knew that for a long time. Now, with this whole COVID thing going on, I know comedy was shut down. I know you loved going to the Comedy Cellar. I mean, you have your own little group of friends that you hang out with there. You're on stage there almost every night. You do that New York comedy scene. You're unbelievable with that. How was that, just to stay home and not do anything for months and months? What did you go crazy? How did that whole thing work out for you?
I don't know how long. I mean, we were doing in Jersey outside shows. I didn't go to New York for like 5 or 6 for a long time. I didn't go to New York.
Wow.
And it's not that I missed performing. I missed hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
We did do last summer a special on HBO Max, Colin Quinn and Friends, where we did it to people in their cars. I got to host it. Colin Close and Bobby Kelly was on it. Keith Robinson. So that was fun hanging out with them because I didn't see a lot of those guys. Luckily, I had this piece of property where I got to do, a lot of landscaping, a lot of work around the house, outdoors, and I did my videos, landscaping with Rich, which did absolutely nothing for my career. Not even, it didn't, a snow cone had more heat than my dumb videos.
Rich, tell the audience exactly what that is. You do a YouTube show. Just tell what the YouTube show is, because I don't think anybody knows about it.
Well, it's on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Landscaping with Rich, 2 seasons. I just finished up yesterday, potted some coleus. We built a shed over there. I put bricks around it. I could do a tour, but the shed, Bonnie did a lot of that, but I was the foreman on the site. I had her doing it, without my, she read the directions. She's better with directions than I am. And, I was the foreman and she built a lot of the shed. And then, I got all kinds of stuff. I got an acre here. I got a bit, you can see our big garden back there.
Oh, it's beautiful, Rich. That looks like a dream. I mean, that's really, it's beautiful.
But the only problem is after a week after we moved in here, they started building 190 unit townhouses one property away from us. 1 week after, you could see them.
I can see it.
It's one property away.
Do you hear it? Are they banging noise all day and all night? I mean, is it bad?
In the morning, but it's by, here's wait, hold on.
Oh, it's pretty. It's so pretty.
Isn't that a nice yard?
It's a beautiful yard. Congrats. You did good for yourself. I'm happy you're living in a nice area. You have a great wife. You have a great family. Everything's going great for you. Now during COVID, I know. Now before COVID, Rich.
Hold on. What?
Rich, before COVID, how many gigs a year were you doing?
Almost every weekend. If I didn't do a weekend on the road, I worked in New York. I never took a weekend off, really.
You never, I noticed that you never took any weekends off. So how did you function? I know you don't like to sit around. You're a guy that likes to do stuff. What did you do during the weekends when you couldn't go perform?
Oh, I was going stir crazy a little. I ate, I worked out. I went in the garage in the summer. I don't know. I play a lot of golf. Once they opened the course.
Who is that?
I declined it. Steve White, a comic.
I know Steve White. Steve ain't white.
What's that?
Steve ain't white. He's not white.
Steve White. He's probably called me to play golf, and I'll call him back. So I played a lot of golf. I did, listen. Luckily, I'm not like those comics stuck in 1-bedroom apartments in New York or LA or wherever, without a family, without a cat or a dog or a wife yelling at them, telling them what they're doing wrong, without a wife giving them a lecture every night on how to be a better person, even though I'm too old to start, And also, too, I went to a lot of 12-step Zoom meetings, because I'm 35 years sober.
I know you've been sober like ever. I never knew you when you weren't sober. I mean, I know you used to go to meetings and all that stuff, and I mean that saved your life. You talk about it all the time, so I don't mind talking about it on air. But I mean, you weren't smoking weed or you weren't drinking. You were smoking crack, correct?
Well, I mean, look, I worked my way up to that. I drank all the time. I did whatever, but towards the last 2 or 3 years, I got high since 9th grade, but the last 3 years, I smoking freebase, but they call it crack. Freebase is such a more classier name. So I like the last 3 years was that.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it, but
yeah.
So with how comedy's going right now, I don't like the direction it's going. I think comics are too soft, and you've always been I hate to use this word, but I'm gonna use it with you. You've always been an edgy comic. You've always, with hecklers, you've been you're one of the I say this, you're one of the greatest comics working that handle hecklers out there right now. I mean, there's no one that handles hecklers like Rich Vos, in all seriousness.
Thank you, but I mean, there's no comic that can do crowd work like me.
I Just hecklers
I,
alone. But that all being said, I mean, do you feel you have to watch what you say now with the audience, with the phones and the cancel culture and all this BS? I mean, how's it affected your act?
well, first of all, you can't hurt me any more than I've been hurt. You can't. What can you do? What can you take away? You can't take away. Okay, what are you going to do? Say, oh, look, guess who's not going to be able to do a funny bone in Nebraska? I can't do it anyhow. Uh, you know, I'm going to say whatever I want to say because listen. I know where to draw the line. I know what's funny. I know, I know what I could say or what I can't say, and I know what I want to say or don't want to say. I'm not going to go out there and say something just for shock value. There was whatever. People get so, but also people like I think the Stand in New York, the club I work a lot now, the Stand, I think they're less uptight. The younger they are, the more uptight they are. Yeah. But look, if you're going to a comedy club, you're not going there to hear poetry. You're not going there. I'm not a CEO at Apple. What the fuck? You don't like it? You know what? Hit the streets. That's what I always say. Hit the streets.
I agree. I mean, I was talking to Al Martin. He's the owner of the Broadway Comedy Club and a few other clubs. And he was telling me comics call him and go over their sets with him, not because he wants them to, because they feel they have to make sure that they don't offend anybody. And I'm like, Al, I said, I don't know any comics that are funny that want to actually be successful. They would never do that. And that's a shame that a comic would ever even think of calling the club owner and asking him that question.
Well, first of all, going over your dumb set, anything. Oh, here's my set. Shut up, stupid. First of all, I work in the moment. Who knows what I'm going to say or open with? I have material. I keep writing material. I have 6 CDs working on my 7th. Yeah. But I don't have a little set. Here's my set. Fuck off. All right, shut up. All right, my little set. Sorry if I cursed on your dumb podcast.
No, you can say anything you want. It's rated R here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because one of your bobbleheads went like this. I hope you go to sleep tonight. They all attack you. Nothing would make me happier than you wake up with a bunch of bobbleheads strangling your.
I have a bat next to my bed. They're not going to attack me.
So do I. I have a bat, nunchucks, a knife, and my little crossbow, not my big one.
Crossbow.
The little one. Comics. I guess the younger comics. I don't know. It's a different world, obviously, but funny's funny. You gotta draw your own line, and you decide what you want to do. It's up to you, and whatever consequences you have to pay, if you have to pay, then whatever.
Yeah, it's just back when you and I were working together a lot in comedy, it was just there were no rules. You just could kind of do what you want as long as you're like don't yell fire on stage. But now everything's changed. It's just. Yeah, it's not the same thing anymore, but hopefully it will change soon, but we'll see what happens. I mean, another thing I want to ask you is about we talked about your golf game. How good of a golfer are you?
Oh, listen, there's golfers that are way better, but last week I shot 83, 84, 85.
So you're above average. You're in the 80s. You're 80, above average.
I mean, I've shot in the 70s like 6 times. I could shoot low 80s, and I could also, almost start crying on the golf course. It's really a dumb game. It's really stupid. I'm playing tomorrow. I'm going to play tomorrow. I love when I come to LA.
Do you play with other comics? Or you play with other like businessmen? Who do you usually
whoever
play
they
with?
put me? I mean, I have a variety of different people, right? People in 12-step programs, comics. Yeah. Regular people. When I come to LA, I play Bel Air all the time. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Big money. I played there once, and they won't let me back. So
are you a golfer?
I golf. I was a scratch golfer in college. My roommate was on the golf team.
Really?
My roommate was Billy Mayfair, who was on the tour for many years. Had a big drinking problem. But uh, Billy Mayfair. He won a few events. But so are the Arizona State golf team? Phil Mickelson was on the team. I mean, they had a
Yeah.
great team. But so we lived on a golf course. So I went out every day and played with these idiots, and they taught me how to play. And I was good by the end of the year. I was unbelievable. But then, you know, you get married, you do other things, you play softball, you play other sports, and you kind of forget about golf. But if I play for 3 or 4 days in a row, I'm pretty good again. I just have to get there and play. So you play. So I want one great story from you about road gigs, one nighters. What's the worst one nighter you've had? I mean, you're the king of one nighters in New Jersey. You have to have one great story. I want to hear it.
I mean,
I mean, you worked all these crappy clubs.
all right.
Coming up, you played all these private parties. You told me some of them, and some of them were crazy stories. I mean, crazy with women and drugs and all this stuff. I know you weren't doing drugs, but I mean, it was just
Yeah,
you got.
I did drugs my first 3 years in comedy.
Yeah, I didn't know you then. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is this. I mean, give us one great story, Rich.
We did a great story. Okay, here's a good one. I got out of rehab, so I had maybe a month clean, around a month.
Yeah,
I was working
and you're a stand-up comic. You were doing stand-up for
Yeah.
3 years.
And I was working a club in Daytona. I think it was Max's famous pub or whatever, some club. And I was single, young, and I ended up going back up to my room with either an audience member or a waitress. All I know is she was a 10. She was beautiful. I remember, extremely beautiful. And we're back in my hotel room. I start making out with her, and it was a funny taste. I go, "What's that?" And she pulled out like a gigantic bag of Coke. And I had like a month clean. I said, "Listen, you're going to have to leave after we
Another
have
girl
sex."
leaves. Another girl leaves. One girl left because the money was in the right
No,
order. Another girl left because she had
no,
a big cocaine bag.
no.
And
I said, "You're going to have to leave." And then I pause. I go, "After we have sex." And I mean, look, she's there. We might as well make the best of each other. Uh, you know, uh, I've done so many gigs. A guy in the audience, I was saying something, just trashing his toupee, and he threw it at me, and all you see is a toupee flying across the stage. I had, I had this, uh, I talk about this on stage now. This girl that was in the front row the other night, and she was blind, the sweetest girl on the planet, so nice. And I talked to her. She was 25 years old, just so lovely and so much fun to have up front. And to me, people are people. And I talked to her throughout the show. She laughed. She loved comedy, and I asked her, like, 2 questions. I go, "Were you born blind?" And she said, "Yeah." And I remember saying to her, I go, "Well, since you are blind, why are you wasting the front row? I mean, it's kind of like, aren't you supposed to have good hearing? It's kind of selfish." And I sent her to the back, and it was kind of uncomfortable because she forgot her dog. But what I'm saying is, so many weird things happen in comedy throughout, and on stage you got to make them work for you. A good comic can do a what do you call it? A good comic can do why can't I? I'm getting old. I'm getting Alzheimer's.
you do or not?
Yeah, I am. When a quarterback calls, don't even tell me.
Audible.
A good comic can do an audible.
Right.
You can. If if and you could be dealing with the great, and all of a sudden a knife fight in the audience breaks out. So you got to know, well, what do I do during a knife fight? And in comedy too, on the road, there's so many wild stories and crazy things. Now, I mean, look, I do my show, I go on the road. I take my little George Foreman that cooks one burger, and it only cooks one, and I don't eat meat. So I go back and have a Impossible burger.
Okay.
And then I get up, play golf, then work out. And then I go bum out in an audience, and I sell CDs after it. And, they buy CDs. I go, wow, look at this. I'm committing fraud twice in one night on stage, and now here selling it to you idiots. And that's it. That's my life, but it's
That's
great.
your life. And I'm taking a little credit because I put you on Last Comic.
Not only last comic, you put me on Evening at the Improv.
Put you in Evening Improv too, but Last Comic, I think, changed your career.
Yes.
I think that put you on the map. I think that made you like starting doing theaters, and you know I'm
Yes.
right. I mean,
Well,
you blew up after Last Comic. You did Last Comic, then you did Colin Quinn's thing, and I mean, you were doing. I mean, it was unbelievable. You went on.
I was on Tough Crowd at the time. I was on a big radio show. Yes, Last Comic. Yes, but the first season that I was on, let me tell you, that season wouldn't have been a season without me and Dave Mordahl. Okay.
And no kidding. Wow, really? You don't think that fan can hold court and have a conversation like you and Dave Mordell? No, you were on the show for a reason, for your not for your good looks and your tattoos. You're on for your personality and your wit.
Yes, and they needed an asshole.
You were direct and you were fun. You were hilarious. I mean, I haven't seen the show in years, but you did the first season, and you should be proud of yourself because
I was.
That was, doesn't matter if you lose or win on that show. You know I'm right.
You see this house I'm at? It's because the Last Comic standing. The money.
Oh, good. So when I come to New Jersey, I have a place to stay now.
Yes,
that's perfect.
You'd have a better chance. Have a better chance making it through Lebanon wearing a yarmulke than staying at my house.
Not the West Bank. Rich, it's been great talking to you. Great seeing you. When you come back to LA, make sure you call me. I want to play golf with you.
I would love to.
If you want to see Rich live, please do. It's a treat. richvos.com. He's one of the best comics working right now. And if you want to really laugh, heckle him during the show. See what happens.
No, don't.
No, heckle him. It'd be funny. I'm Ross the Boss, and that's Rich Vos.